In front of me right now, I have the very dashing Eurobeat Brony. So, other than that, do you want to go by something else, man, or?
That's a name that most people know me by. So for this, it works.
Fair enough. So, how's it going?
I'm okay. I've got a little bit before sound check.
I heard about that. Yeah.
A little bit. Got a little bit of nerve combined with a little bit of jet lag, but that'll go in due time. Besides, that usually turns into pure, just straight up. What's the word I'm looking for? Cockiness. That's the word I'm looking for. Right before the show, so it usually works out.
Well, fair enough. So how long do we have you for then?
What time is it right now?
It's 3:40.
Oh, we got 20 minutes.
Awesome, 20 minutes, guys. Okay, so we'll start off with just questions for me real quick, then break it out to the listeners who are now pretty much geeking out as we speak.
Procaster.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with Procaster.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So I guess the biggest thing is, why Eurobeat Brony? Why did you get the name from, I guess?
Well, oh boy. Let's see. I'd been doing Eurobeat for a while before. I've been on a couple of albums, compilations before then, and at the time that I got involved with this show, I just sort of made the remix that I did sort of anonymously for a couple of for someone who wanted Flutterguy's vocals removed from Evil Enchantress, and I wasn't able to do that, so I just did that as a way to sort of counter that. And people started asking me if I was going to do more and more. So as I started making them, I sort of needed an identifier. And at the time, the word brony was new, and a little bit more oriented towards, say, the sort of frat bro approach and whatnot. And at the time, I was actually rushing Kappa Sigma, so it worked out. So I decided to start calling myself that from then, and then that's sort of where it really started taking off.
Well, I guess that's how it goes. It starts off a little project and just grows and grows from there, right?
Yeah. Actually, people were at the very start. People were like, "Oh, you need to do an entire album of this. You need to do an entire album." I'm like, "No. Let the community try this out. Let other people do other things." And then it didn't happen at the time, and then I had an album out. I mean, now we have artists like Ecstaticus and Stormwolf and all of them really doing well.
Yeah.
Stormwolf has a better brass than I do. What's up with that? But at the time, it was sort of like I was the only guy doing Eurobeat at the time, so I guess it just kind of worked that way.
Yeah, well, and I guess thank God for that, because some of the songs you have are phenomenal. I mean, putting us aside, I keep finding work that you've inspired through your songs. Like, this actually was a fan fiction we read a while ago and showed on the show, where it was basically what would happen if the princesses would allow Discord, a second chance.
Huh.
And he stays with Twilight without powers, and one night he decides, take her on a flight through the sky, and he starts, showing off your lyrics.
Huh.
As he goes along, like, he probably, of course, asks me, where are you getting that from? I'm like, oh,
interesting.
Just a catchy song I heard once.
I can't say I'm too familiar with the whole fan fiction side of the things, but the fact that it's inspiring, works of that nature, I mean, that's pretty cool. I mean, this is just something that I sort of knocked it started out just sort of for fun, and the fact that it's really exploded like it has is unprecedented and surprising, and it's always weird when someone likes your stuff. It's like, really? That was just, really?
And likes it enough to say, hey, come on the show for a second here to talk.
Yeah. We'll fly you out to a convention so you can sing horribly in front of a crowd and play it at the same time.
I'm looking forward to that tonight, man. Don't feel bad about it. I can't wait. Oh. That was like one of the biggest highlights I saw coming in here. It was even cooler to find out that, Mogul Dash is, I think, just down there, who we also played too. But
there's actually quite a few great names here. We got Cyril, we got Chained Algorithm, we got EHT. Just the one who blew up a subwoofer at BronyCon. No biggie.
Yeah.
And I gotta follow that. I gotta follow these guys. How am I supposed to do that?
I don't know. Just get up there, start those good old speakers up, and just blow our minds away with your awesome beats.
Hoping it works out.
Yeah. I know there are a lot of questions coming in, so I won't take up too much of my own questions for this, because this is not for me. This is for the viewers. Yeah. That being said, Red Bull.
Yes,
the
I
drink.
need these.
Yeah, drink of champions.
The drink of no more jet lag.
I hear that. Wait, I don't care. That's right. Where did you fly out from?
I flew out from California.
Okay.
If I gave an exact city, I'd be done for.
Yeah.
I'd be tabloid fodder.
Yeah, I can see that now. Just everyone to your front step, give us those bad beats. Beats. Yeah. I was gonna ask though, Okay, this is the biggest question. You can't come on to this show without being asked it.
Okay.
I think you know where this is going. In your opinion, who is the best pony?
Oh boy, best? Oh, I honestly can't answer that. Best. Well, by what standards? I like Fluttershy most, but how would I evaluate best?
I don't know. Okay, fair enough. Granted, I'm not surprised you did Fluttershy. A lot of people love that mare. I'm kind of hurt you didn't say Applejack, but you know what?
Applejack is number 2 for me.
Okay.
Applejack is number 2 for me.
Redeemed.
Fair enough. I'm glad I can be redeemed.
Okay. I mean, it's not, actually, no, to be honest, there's nothing you really can do to scorn me in my eyes and ears, considering how much after I really got into your music. It was wild there for like a first month that I would close out the show with a lot of your tracks. Speaking of which, one thing I really love about your tracks is that pair of musicians, those Ralph and who else was it?
Oh, they're actually a trio. Wild Joe's Eurobeat Band. There's Joe, Ralph, and Bill. I always get this mixed up. Joe is in. I haven't thought too much about this. Like Joe, I think Joe is an earth pony. Ralph is a unicorn, and Bill is a buffalo.
Really?
Hey, go figure, right?
Yeah.
That's sort of how I saw it in my head. It's headcanon now. I had to go there, didn't I?
Yeah.
That's just sort of how I imagined it. Originally, You Gotta Share was going to be empty. It was literally just going to be instruments, and that's how it was. And then I just recorded something for fun, and I'm like, this is actually kind of funny. I want to keep that. And then then it took off. I have one more song in store for Wild Joe's Eurobeat Band.
I can't wait.
I said that it was going to be on Ponybeat Volume 2. I'm thinking of pushing it to 3 so I can say that 2 is done. I'm torn on the matter.
I'm torn on it too because I love those guys. It's my favorite parts of the album.
They'll still be around. I'm just debating whether they'll be on 3 or on 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But gosh, I should have thought. In that case, until it comes back, let's get to some questions from the viewers.
Sure.
The user Chickadee writes in. So Eurobeat Brony. How did you become a brony?
Oh boy. Well, let's see. That was about January. I'll have to start a couple months before then. I was kind of going through a rough time. My grandfather had died through basically blatant malpractice. And I was using cartoons as a way to get my mind off it. I had gone through a couple of shows. I think I'd watched a couple of anime at the time. I think Penny and Stocking with Garter Belt was in at the time. It's the title. Come on, this might be PG or something.
I've actually seen it.
Okay, fair enough. I started watching Batman, Piderman. Love that series so much. He makes the jokes. And then I kept seeing people post around on a couple of image boards of it. Like, people were posting almost unironically about these cartoon horses. Like, this can't be serious. So I traced it back, and this place is more familiar with the likes of Batman and Superman, superheroes and more comics of that nature.
Yeah.
And they unironically liked this show. And I'm like, wait, what? Is this a joke? Are you serious? So they were serious. So I decided I figured I'd check it out. And it wasn't too bad. It took a couple of episodes for me to really get into it, but that's sort of when I became a fan.
Well, I think for better reason, why other than that? I mean, for a lot of us, myself included, the show really helped us get over a traumatic experience one way or another. And that being said, I'm sorry to hear that about your grandfather. But
it's all right. Honestly, he did a good enough job with us, I think.
Yeah.
I think for the most part, he'd still be proud of where I am right now.
I was gonna say, if nothing else, to be proud of where this all took you. So
maybe not the subject matter, but the fact that I'm out here.
I hear that, man.
Probably...
Look at you. I mean, your music's well known amongst a huge community. You're being interviewed on radio stations. I hope, at least. I'm hoping not the first radio interview you've been on.
I've been. What?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Hang on, kind of crowded back here.
All right. Yeah, I've been a couple of times on a couple of these stations.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, why not? If you say, come on, get you out there. But anywho, more questions. Sweetie Cake writes in, can I hug you?
You're allowed to, but I don't know if we're able to. Like, I can't see you from here. There's not much I can hug. Tell you what. Okay, I sent it through the microphone. So let me know if it gets to you. Okay.
There you go.
See if that works.
If not, expect like a knock on your door in a few weeks.
Oh dear.
Hugs.
Yeah. If it's any time after 8 p.m., I'm not sure if it'll work.
Fair enough. Let's see who else here. Let's see. Okay, Sonic Player writes in, what was the inspiration behind Discord?
Discord. You know, I had at the time I was thinking about getting more originals into Super Ponybeat, and I sort of wanted to write my own stuff. And the idea of another villain original had come up a couple times before.
Yeah.
And I was sort of juggling this idea because he seemed like an interesting character to write for, and it just, if I'm not mistaken, he's one of only one villain has actually had a song of their own, right? That's Chrysalis, right? I don't recall. I'm not in the best of states right now, but
yeah.
But people were saying, "Oh, you should do another one. You should do another one." I'm like, "Okay." A lot of the suggestions were for Trixie, but I don't remember what my reasons were at the time. I'm not sure if I'm ultimately too interested. I mean, no offense, Trixie's fine and whatnot, but Discord seemed like a more interesting concept at the time.
Yeah.
And I juggled a couple of really serious ideas around. I ran it by a couple of people. I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? They're all like, it's a little too dark. It's a little too
Moody?
Moody, yeah. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to make one big cluster love of a bunch of different styles that's going to be all super chaotic and crazy and fun. I think that's a better reflection of Discord. And then I put it out and it exploded. I have no idea why or how, but that seems to be the one that just sort of took people by surprise.
Well, it's a really catchy tune. I mean, I really can't see how it could not have taken off, as the way it did. Let's see, moving on to the next question. Epona writes in, do you ever tell non-Brodians what you do?
Well, I tell them that I make music. If they ask, if they knew about what I do, then I just say, yeah, it's got some interesting music and it's gotten me this far, so yeah.
Why stop,
Yeah, exactly. They generally don't give me too much trouble for it because of as far as I've gone with it. They seem to be like, okay, whatever. They tend to prefer that I do. They actually have more trouble with the genre that I do than the fact that it's about and then the subject matter.
Really?
They think that I would do better with other forms of EDM, which is fine, and I've dabbled in those, but it's not currently where my heart is. And they're looking out for me. They're trying to say, here's where you could do bigger, and maybe that's a venue I'll pursue. But they generally don't have too much trouble with the subject matter, because I don't make a big deal of it anywhere else in life,
Yeah, as you could say, look how far it's really brought you along. Yeah.
So, if writing a song about something named Pinkie Pie is what it's going to take for me to get here, then I'd more than happily do it. Mm-hmm. Which is how it is.
Amen. Nina, I believe, was actually from Poland, writes in, how do you feel about others remixing your songs or what have you?
I'm actually flattered that people like them in the first place. The fact that they would even go so far as to remix it, all the better. I've always made it clear that people can, for the most part, use my songs as they like, as long as it's not used in an overly sexual or super political or gory or something to that extent. It's more than fine, and I'm just happy people are working with it, interfacing with it on that level. Like, I'm surprised people are listening to it in the first place. It's like so if they want to remix it, they're more than welcome to it, for the most part. Oh.
Fair enough.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so you're out of time?
Yeah, we got like 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's go through like a lightning round here.
Okay.
Myron writes in, why are you so awesome?
Lots of Red Bull, and any vessel for Eurobeat is awesome by proxy.
Word. And Chickadee writes in again, how long have you been making music for?
Basically out of the womb. I was born into a musical family. Both of my parents were in bands at some point or another, sometimes even with each other. And I was just raised around a lot of music. I started making my own, specifically for me, like my own material, early teens, late preteens, I'd say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been involved in music since day one, so, and I couldn't imagine life without it.
I understand as well. I can see life without entertaining one way or another, be it through music or through broadcasting it. What are your plans for the future outside the new album?
Which one?
Well, I mean, outside of actually, putting together like Eurobeat Brony 2.
Yeah, I actually have. Once Ponybeat 2 is done, I'm actually going to be focusing on the sequel to my first original album, My Life as a Pixel.
Yeah.
I also have a couple of, oh dear, they're starting to pull me. A couple of collabs, a couple of things in the way. No, not in the way. I'm sorry, that's bad wording on my end. A couple of projects along the side, and then back into Volume 3. Just sort of more originals, more probably outside of the pony world.
Yeah.
I need some time to sort of reestablish myself on the sort of creative personal side before I start getting back into franchises.
Yeah.
I mean, working with My Little Pony is fine and fantastic, and it's a great wealth of musical just joy to work with. But as someone who's created sort of my own work, it's a little asphyxiating sometimes. It's sort of choking at times. It's like, I need to make something of my own. Actually, the song that I did for the Midwestria fundraiser is completely. Well, it was written completely unrelated to ponies. I'm sure someone can find a way to make it related, I guess, but ultimately it was just written, it was just me doing what I wanted to do.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, in that case, thank you so much for coming on the air. Do you have
Thanks for
anything else
having
you want to say to anyone? Any shout-outs?
I love you all. Look for Ponybeat 2 to be done sometime soon, and expect awesome things even further. Oh, and support your musicians regardless of if they make pony content or not.